Greetings, everyone. My name is Attorney Aida Ford, and I'm popping in to give you some updates on the COVID-19 vaccination policies and my 5 minutes or less information blurbs to you all. Thank you all for keeping up. And as you know, I've been talking a lot about different things in the District of Columbia and then nationally and globally as it relates to COVID-19 and the mandatory vaccination policies and religious exemptions, etc. This issue is evolving. Case law is percolating now through the court, so I want to keep everyone informed about what these decisions are saying, why they're saying it, and then I want private sector folks, nonprofits, churches to really think through the mandatory vaccination policy and what we're being told about it, and then how it can really be effective. So the courts, the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals recently basically stopped OSHA, which is the Occupational Health and Safety Administration, stopped them from implementing the private sector rule that says that all private sector employers with 100 employees or more need to implement mandatory vaccination policies. A bunch of people got together and filed a lawsuit. A bunch of businesses got together and filed a lawsuit, and the court agreed that there were a couple problems with the policy. The first thing is that, is it a true emergency if we're not applying it to all employers? Why are we only applying it to 100 employers or more? So the court questioned that. And why are we calling it emergency? The other thing it said was that, are we really taking into account employers who are security companies who contract out guards to work alone on an overnight shift in buildings that are private and closed, where there's nobody else around? Should we not carve out stipulations for them? How is this policy? Is it a little too over-inclusive? So the court felt that it wasn't an emergency and it didn't need to be issued on an emergency basis. It didn't necessarily strike down the policy. I know you're hearing that a lot in media. It just said, no, we're going to allow the parties to litigate this, and then we're going to decide, but we don't think that there is enough of a current emergency in the United States for us to implement this or force employers, private employers, to do this. And so the Biden administration asked the Sixth Circuit Court of Appeals next door to dissolve, this court's decision, and the Sixth Circuit said, no, we agree. We want to know too, how is this an emergency when you all, the administration, is not applying this to the more vulnerable folks at smaller companies. So with that, I want to talk about the vaccination policies in general and the efficacy and the effectiveness of them. What you're hearing, and President Biden has said this, look, we want to protect the vaccinated worker from the unvaccinated worker. But what's happening in reality is that vaccinated people are actually getting the virus. They're not immune to it. For example, got calls from clients at schools where all the teachers who are testing positive are fully vaccinated. The unvaccinated people who are required to test every week to go to work are testing negative. But they know that because they're required to test. And so it begs the question, if we really want to curb the spread of the virus, is it more effective to make sure that everyone tests whether they're vaccinated or not? Because vaccinated teachers are allowed to go to school and they're undetected until they experience symptoms. And if they're, God forbid, they're asymptomatic, and then kids in the class are testing positive. So that's what's happening. And there's no safeguard, because if you're vaccinated and you have a vaccination card, then it's you're given additional rights that the unvaccinated person isn't given, but the unvaccinated person is required to test. And so we know that this person is safe, but we don't know that the vaccinated person is safe. And so I just want people to really start thinking about these things, because again, the messaging is unvaccinated people are harmful to vaccinated people, but in reality, vaccinated people are getting it every day, and this is global. In Spain, I think it was 2 days ago, there was an event with over 100 people, and 68 of those people tested positive, and they're all fully vaccinated. We know that here in the United States, a cruise ship docked in New Orleans in the wake of the Omicron variant. A lot of hysteria around that because it's new, and 10 people, including staff, tested positive, and certainly the workers were vaccinated for all we know. And so again, it's being spread, and we need to really think through the conversations that we're having and the way we're thinking about mandatory vaccination policies, and really just keeping ourselves safe in this, and whether or not a mandatory vaccination policy is going to meet that goal. I will be back later to talk a little bit more about teachers and children in public schools and vaccination safety there. But for now, I'm signing off. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe if you like this content, and I'll be back with more. Thank you.